Good afternoon. It's now 12 o'clock. I'm Anne-Marie Tiernan, joining you with breaking news as we break away from national coverage to bring you the very latest developments here in central Indiana. And we start this noon with another swatting attempt on a state lawmaker and his family. Added up, and this is the third incident in the last week. This morning, it was Republican State Senator Spencer Deary of West Lafayette along with his family. Scary situation. Dustin Grove joins us live in studio with the very latest details of what you've been able to determine this morning.
And Anne-Marie, just within the last hour, we received a message from Senator Deary's office about multiple incidents at his home. At about 8 o'clock this morning, dispatchers notified Deary they'd gotten a report of domestic abuse at his house and that there would be a threat of violence to any officers who responded. Now, this is a dangerous prank known as swatting. The hope is to get the SWAT team to some unsuspecting person's home, guns drawn, and create a confrontation. In a statement, Deary said, "I am grateful to the West Lafayette Police Department for their professionalism and preparedness to recognize this as a swatting attempt that could be resolved without putting my children or the children on our street who were preparing to board school buses in a dangerous and stressful situation." Now, this pizza delivery to his home, and in the statement he said this may seem like a harmless prank, and it certainly isn't as serious as a swatting, but it is still an attempt to intimidate an elected official by conveying basically, we know where you live. Now, as Ann mentioned, these swatting attacks are increasing across the state. Republican Senator Dan Durnall confirmed an attempt on his family. In a statement, he said, "It is sad because of these efforts and work that I am villainized in some minds to the point of harmful retaliation. Threats to the public officials cannot and should not be the norm. I hope to see justice for this illegal behavior." And a similar incident played out over the weekend in Vigo County down in the Terre Haute area. State Senator Greg Good says sheriff's deputies did actually show up at his home after they got a false report of an emergency.
You know, this really can have a quelling effect. Just like you said there, I know where you live, because you do have partners and you have children, you've got family, and then you think, is standing up, is fighting for what I'm fighting for in the political arena worth the risk of safety to my family? Yeah,
this is all amid the debate, the fierce debate over congressional redistricting. Good and Deary have come out publicly against it. Deary also said in that statement this morning, "It is disturbing that anybody would attempt to harm or intimidate lawmakers, but sadly, not all that surprising in this current environment."
Yeah, and real quickly, where are we on redistricting in Indiana? You just had a conversation with the governor in the last 24 hours.
Yeah, so it depends on who you ask. The Senate leadership says they just don't have the support for it. Governor Braun says the fight is not over. He's going to try and compel senators to show up and vote for it. The House thinks they do have the support. The House is going to continue to work on it. So we may see some movement in the next couple of weeks. If not in the next couple of weeks, maybe in the general session when lawmakers return for their normal session in January.
All right. Thanks for bringing us update on the very latest developments on this today. Dustin Grove. And we will continue to follow these stories. In fact, I know he's making calls as soon as he leaves the studio to see what else we can learn. And as we learn more, we'll bring it to you on all WTHR platforms. Turning to our other big story today, the weather. Another gloomy day today. Cloud cover sticking around. And tomorrow, we're going to have some rain with the clouds as well. Sean's here with more of what we can expect.
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday. The camera views would look very similar. They haven't changed at all. What will change in the next 24 hours, we're going to go from foggy to soggy. You like that? Okay, well, hang tight.
Blue skies and sun.
Yeah, I know. We're going to have to wait on that. Some brightening expected as we go into the weekend, so maybe the timing is going to work out. But boy, yeah, we are just trapped in what we call a temperature inversion. That means warmer air aloft over colder air at the surface, and it's not allowing this cloud layer to get mixed up. And so there you go. That cloud layer, as we talked about yesterday, sometimes will get toward the ground level. You can see it's covering up the Salesforce building there. And that's the mist and the drizzle that you feel from time to time. Temperatures are not going to move much at all. Visibility ranges from 10 miles to locally under a mile in spots where that mist and drizzle gets a little thicker, if you will. And there's the blanket of clouds. Temperatures mostly going to be in the 40s once again for today here. Areas of dense fog and some drizzle will continue for after school weather. Now, rain will get steadier and a little bit heavier as we go into tomorrow. I'll address that, how much rain to expect all ahead in the 7-day forecast.
Thank you, Sean. We'll check back. We do have some progress to report. Just about 10 minutes ago, all the lanes of US 31 reopened as police now have wrapped up their investigation into a deadly crash. It involved a deer and a semi-truck. We had a crew at the scene along US 31 southbound near 256th Street. The crash happened early this morning in the 4 o'clock hour. Police now telling us that an SUV hit a deer. That SUV then became disabled in the road and later then was hit by a semi-truck. Right now, we are reaching out to get an ID on the driver who was killed in this crash. And as we learn more, we'll update you in this newscast and on our website. And now we do know the name of a man who was killed in a crash on the near east side of Indianapolis. It happened around 4:30 yesterday morning on East 25th and North Sherman Drive. That's where police found a car crash into a pole with 2 men inside. The driver, now identified as 23-year-old Jeffrey Keys. The passenger went to the hospital. At last check, that passenger was critical but stable. Funeral services for Corporal Blake Reynolds are now set for tomorrow and for Saturday. It's been just a little more than a week since he was killed in a crash along I-69 North. There's a new report out now revealing what a witness told police say they saw right before the accident. So in the report, investigators say a witness told them the Prairie Farms truck was, quote, out of control as it hit the other semi. The semi was stopped along the interstate. The driver of that stopped semi told police that black ice is what caused him to slide off the road. The report also says Corporal Reynolds was taking pictures of the damage to the stopped truck when its trailer hit him. Again, services for the 31-year-old are now set for tomorrow and Saturday. We have details for those services online right now at WTHR.com. And as a result, Governor Mike Braun ordering flags at the State House and state facilities in Clinton County to be lowered to half staff tomorrow. This move on Friday to honor the National Guardsman Terry Fry, who died in a crash last week. According to his obituary, Sergeant Fry used to live in Frankfort. That's where he'll be laid to rest tomorrow. This 23-year-old was in a Humvee when it flipped along I-65 in Boone County. 3 other Indiana Guardsmen were hurt in this crash. A new federal lawsuit now filed against Roblox. That's one of the world's most popular gaming platforms. The suit claims that the game allowed a predator to reach and exploit an 11-year-old girl from Johnson County, Indiana. Alex Almanza went through the court filing, and he has what to watch out for if you have a child on the platform.
Freaky Diddy Simulator, Escape to Epstein Island. These are the examples of thousands of mini-games created by Roblox users. Accounts with names referencing convicted sex offenders allegedly permitted to be openly engaged in children's games. It's just one of the many disturbing pieces of evidence now in a lawsuit filed out of California, where the app giant is headquartered.
But this is one of the reasons why we're suing Roblox, right? These parents are missing the truth.
Stan Geip, a partner with Dolman Law Group, is representing an 11-year-old girl identified as Jane Doe and her family. Court filings reveal that girl, just 10 at the time, reportedly came into contact with a man on Roblox who convinced her to exchange phone numbers. It eventually led to explicit messages, with the man even asking the girl to undress over video chat.
She's distressed. Yeah, she's bothered. She's not thinking that at 18, I'm going to have to worry about this popping up when I go interview for jobs. Right? She's just like, hey, I've gotten in big trouble and I know this was bad.
This comes amid a string of lawsuits and claims alleging Roblox enabled sexual predators to connect with and abuse children. The company's CEO says they already have measures in place meant to protect young users.
Much of what you hear about is not happening on Roblox, and many parents aren't aware that many other apps that kids have access to allow image sharing, allow texting.
This week, Roblox rolling out a new feature. Users who want to chat now have to provide a government ID or let AI estimate age with a photo scan.
Now it's going to take a picture of me or make me do a face scan.
I put the new feature to the test, which the company says for now is rolling out on a voluntary basis.
It put me in the age group of 18 and up.
While Roblox says the new feature will increase the number of users verifying their age, Gype wants parents to know it's not just Roblox.
Use Roblox and what you learn from looking at this stuff in this litigation to educate you about what might be going on other platforms.
In Johnson County, Alex Almanza, 13 News.
Looking ahead to next month, a federal panel will review whether this lawsuit should be grouped with almost 24 similar cases. The decision would determine if they proceed together as a single class action. Possible revitalization efforts are starting to surface for the Broadripple area, but leaders say nothing that they're talking right now is set in stone just yet. In fact, they'd like to hear from you as they shape what the neighborhood could look like moving forward. Some neighbors wasting no time. They're banding together with some bold ideas and what they hope will improve the village. It's all part of Broadripple's 2026 Master Development Plan. The community came together and packed a meeting last night, many to voice concerns and to push for change. Attendees say they want to preserve Broadripple's character while also addressing some of the growing concerns about cleanliness, safety, and the overall feel of the commercial district there. They say some of the things that might need to be done might be challenging, but they say they're willing to put in the work. Now, if you are interested in this issue and you weren't able to go to the meeting last night, don't worry, there's another one set for January.